I wanted to this election to be on mass immigration. That must be the most important. It is destroying our way of life, And when I'm speaking about mass immigration, people don't understand that last year in Canada, we had 1.3 million foreigners coming to our country for a country of 40 million people. That is mass immigration. And
that's an invasion.
97% of the growth of our population last year was coming from mass immigration. This is the replacement theory, but
it was not a theory; it's a reality. The Canadian population, like the American population, the European population, replaced.
That's what is happening in our country right now. And the immigrants that are coming here, or the foreigners that are coming to Canada, are coming from countries that doesn't share our Western civilization values. So it's more difficult for them, and they don't speak English or they don't speak French. They cannot integrate into our society. That's a big problem. That's a huge problem. And now you have the housing crisis because of that. Too many people, all these people need a roof. So, but the solution is, it's a question of supply and demand. You just have to stop the demand, and that will solve the housing crisis.
Of course.
But Poilievre, the leader of the Conservative Party, like the Republican Party here in the U.S., but they're not conservative. They're conservative in name only. And what they're doing, if you are a leader of a nation, your first responsibility is to work for your people. And it's immoral what they're doing right now because they're helping foreigners more than Canadians.
Of course.
What Poilievre, the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada, and Carney, the leader of the Liberal Party of Canada, they're saying on mass immigration, we will solve that. We will build more houses for them. So what they're doing, they want more foreigners, and that's why they're building more houses. But that's not to solve the housing crisis for Canadians. No, that's, they are putting their energy to be sure that foreigners will come to our country and they will have a roof. I'm saying, no, just stop that, please. Let's work for our people first.
But why do they hate? I mean, look, in the end, you understand motive by action. Like, how does someone feel? I don't know. Let's watch what he does.
Yeah.
So if you deny your children food, you probably hate your children. Yeah. You can say whatever I love my children, but if you're not giving them dinner, you hate them. And so they clearly, Poilievre and Trudeau and Carney, really hate Canadians. Why is that? Why?
What they like, it's power. I wish I have the answer to that, but they're telling you the opposite. They're telling you that they love. Tucker, they're in that trade war with the U.S. right now.
Yes.
Poilievre and Carney are saying to us, Canadians, we love you. We love you so much, Canadians, that what we will do, we will impose counter tariffs because Trump is bad. President Trump is very bad, and we want to keep our country united. We are a sovereign country. We love you. We will impose a new tax on you, 25% on everything that you are importing from the U.S. I told you, the inflation is high in Canada. Our standard of living is going down, and they add to that a new tax, 25%, and they're telling us it's because we love us. They love us, sorry. And so it's crazy. And they're okay with that. And the former Prime Minister of Canada, Stephen Harper, I was with him. I was a conservative before. I was elected for 13 years. I was a Minister of Foreign Affairs and Industry Minister under the Harper government. I resigned and we created the People's Party in 2018. But Harper just wrote a letter in the National Post in Canada 3 weeks ago. And he said, we need to do that trade war with U.S., dollar for dollar. And you're 10 times bigger than us. We won't win a trade war against the U.S.
That's true.
And he said, dollar for dollar. And he said, yes, it will hurt us Canadians. And yes, we may start a recession, but that's okay. So what I'm telling Canadians, no counter tariffs. It's a tax that you impose on Canadians and Canadian businesses. You must stop that. We must have a deal with President Trump as soon as possible. And we are able to do that if we put everything on the table. But for Carney and Poilievre, no, that's okay. And actually, last week, about these tariffs, Carney said, okay, we will impose another tariffs on the car imported from the U.S. And he said the government will be able to raise $8 billion. And we will give that to big corporations because they are affected by these tariffs. They cannot export their products to the U.S. So what he's telling us, I will take $8 billion for the poor consumers with that new tax. You Canadians consumers, you will pay that. And I will give that to big corporations, taxing the poor and giving that to the rich. That is the policy of the Liberal government. And Poilievre is okay with that. That's crazy. And that is killing our economy.
It's one of the saddest things about this country. The country's getting sicker. Despite all of our wealth and technology, Americans aren't doing well overall. Obesity, heart disease, autoimmune conditions, all kinds of horrible chronic illnesses, weird cancers, they're all on the rise. Probably a lot of reasons for this, but one of them definitely is Americans don't eat very well anymore. They don't eat real food. Instead, they eat industrial substitutes, and it's not good. It's time for something new, and that's where Masa chips come in. Masa has decided to revive real food by creating snacks how they used to be made, how they're supposed to be made. A Masa chip has just 3 simple ingredients, not 117. 3. No seed oils, no artificial additives, just real delicious food. And I know this because we eat a ton of them in my house. And by the way, I feel great. So you can still continue to snack, but you can do it in a healthy way with chips without feeling guilty about it. Masa chips are delicious. They taste how a tortilla chip is supposed to taste. But the thing is, you can hit them really, really hard, and I have, and not feel bloated or sluggish after. You feel like you've done something decent for your body. You don't feel like you got a head injury, or you don't feel filled with guilt. You feel light and energetic. It's the kind of snack your grandparents ate. Worth bringing back. So you can go to masachips.com. Masa is M-A-S-A, by the way. masachips.com/Tucker to start snacking. Get 25% off. We enjoy them. You will too. How does this, I mean, it does seem like any country, ours definitely, U.S. definitely included, reaches a tipping point with population where there are just too many people who have no roots in the country, that have different alien agendas, and it basically becomes unmanageable, and there's sort of no turning back. The country can never be what it was. You can't make it great again. Mm-hmm. How far is Canada from that?
I'm looking in UK right now, what's happening there, and in France. We are not there, but we are near. If we, I said 10 years ago, we need to have a maximum of 100, not 10 years, 8 years ago, we need to have a maximum of 150,000 immigrants a year. And at that time, I was a racist because I was speaking like that, but I was not. And, and now I'm saying we need to have that moratorium because, we had mass immigration. But if we don't stop, in 10 years, I told you, 1.97% of our population, the growth of our population is coming from immigration. If we have that 2, 3, or 5 years more, trouble will be on the street more often than they are right now. So answering your question, Tucker, we are near that, we may lost our country. And that's why I'm saying, I want to save this country, and we, the People's Party, are the only hope for this country. Let's stop that mass immigration, have time to integrate all these people, and, we will be able to regain our country. But if we don't do that, I'm scared. I'm scared for the future of our country.
Well, your Canadian refugees are always welcome here. I mean it. I'm going to continue my defense of Canada as a really... I'm the only
and you
American.
have a nice weather, so here in Florida.
I like cold weather, so I love Canada. Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And by the way, you can hit the little bell on there and get notifications every time we produce a video. We hope you'll do that also.